Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the Netball South Africa podcast. We're back for another exciting edition. And this time around, we're going to be learning some more and a topic that is very interesting. We're talking sponsorship. We do have, some sponsors here at Netball South Africa, some very loyal and very supportive sponsors, and making reference to Telkom. And we are joined now by the head of sponsorship at Telkom. We know that due to Telkom partnering with Netball South Africa, we've got leagues like the Telkom Netball League as well as the Telkom Netball Championship. And we're joined now by Braam Wessels, who is the head of sponsorship at Telkom. Braam, good morning and welcome to the Netball South Africa podcast.
Good morning to everyone, Jan. It's nice to be here.
Spotlight on you. I know you're the man always working behind the scenes, but we're like, let's put you in front of the camera today. How does it feel? Nerve-wracking?
Yeah, I think I've got more a face for radio.
Always
Otherwise,
Mr.
we're
B.
good. Yeah.
Sure. Very exciting topic I feel that we will be talking about, especially when it comes to, partnering with women's sports. Let's take it back. Your journey in sponsorships, sports sponsorships. How far does it go back, Mr. B?
Yes, so I've been around probably now almost 30 years.
Sure.
So exposure from the Olympics to the World Cup, international events, so I think I've seen it all. But it also assists to make sure you make the right calls, because sponsorships are very competitive. To be honest with you, there's a lot of things to sponsor, but you need to be very clear on, firstly, why you want to sponsor. And if you can't manage by objectives in a sponsorship, don't get involved. It's these days of, because I like cricket, I'm going to sponsor cricket. Those days, there's no return on investment, because also sponsorships are now part of a broader marketing mix. It always has been. But companies rely on sponsorships to bring back the bacon. There's a lot of objectives of sponsorships. It's not always an opportunity where you can see direct sales, but it's also, we do a lot of brand love work, and it's like anyone, you first need to like someone before you date that person. True. So I think that's what sponsorship does. It creates that brand love and awareness and presence, and hopefully those people you can influence to go and use your products.
Yeah, that is very interesting, because one would think, example, Telkom. When you think Telkom, you're thinking the internet, data, cell phones. But taking it to sports, how do the two come about? How do they mix? How do they align?
So we believe in making possibilities. We want to give people all the possibilities just because of our nature of our service. We connect people. That's what we do. Every day you want to connect to someone, and that's what we do. So where's there a better way to connect with people through something they really love? And that is sport. Sport is a topic, it's people always talk about sport. People love sport. We are a sport nation. The whole world is sport mad, but we actually sometimes, I think we are more. So that's just a great platform for us to really interact, and also really to show people what we're about. It's something to say, I'm going to do something, but first show people that you can do it, and that's where you get that brand love.
Yeah.
Really living what you've promised people. The brand promise is very crucial.
Sure. And Telkom and you as the head of sponsorship took a gigantic step, and you decided to invest in women's sports, something that is still a challenge to this day. It's 2025, but women's sports still struggle when it comes to sponsorships. One can ask why.
So I think one of the things, we were heavily involved in football, as everyone knows, from a Telkom perspective. But we had to take a decision at some stage to say, what, there's more. It's not only males who play sport, and And I must also say we were very fortunate to get an opportunity to get involved with netball when one of the other bigger sponsors pulled out. And the part people don't understand is we wanted to sponsor netball without even knowing that there's going to be a World Cup.
Okay.
The World Cup was almost like a bonus afterthought, but we really knew we need to get into this world of female sport, because remember, we also know who makes the purchasing decisions. We're quite aware of that. We know who spends the money.
Yeah.
So and so our timing was just ahead of all this. It almost became, especially in the World Cup year, it became almost like everyone needs to be in female sport. And then there was quite a lot of excitement, and unfortunately, I think we took a little bit of a dip again. So timing wise, yeah, I think we were also on the right time at the right place to make that decision. And that's one thing about Telkom is, when we take a decision, we don't believe in short relationships. A relationship is a marriage. You should be in it for many years. And all sponsorships only get a return on investment after 5 years.
Oh.
Because you need to establish yourself. We knew we were up against big long-term sponsors of netball, which is now great friends of ours and our partners. But we also knew, we must just come up with something special. And I think that's where this tournament was born from. We knew we were involved in the TNL, which is the semi-professional league. And we also made sure we're also involved in the Spa Proteas. But somewhere we were like, we missed something in this Maslow principle. And that is, where does it all start? Because we want to make things possible. So how do you make it possible? You have to start on this level and even lower in order to give everyone an opportunity to actually get to their goals, And so that is, in short, dummy guide on how we got involved in netball.
Is it easy to explain to the people that have the signing power to sell this idea to? Because you see, you made an example that it takes 5 years to start seeing the return on investment. And there are people that would want to see the return on investment short term.
I think so. When we went with the proposal to the board and the management, I think everyone bought into it that we've been in sponsorships. And it's time now to also get involved in female sport. I think it was a given. And I just think we were very lucky to get involved in netball is predominantly just a women's sport. So we were very lucky to get that opportunity to say, listen, this is the sport. We were also quite aware of how big is netball on school levels, and I'm going to make a statement now. I always do it, and I'm not even scared to do it anymore, is that netball is probably the biggest sport in South Africa. And it's a very simple math. We've got more than just under, I think, 32,000 schools, and every school plays netball. Every school don't play rugby, cricket, athletics, water polo. They don't do it. So if you just do that calculation, so we were quite aware that what is the growth potential of a sport, and so I think that was also important for us, because every company wants to speak to the youth, so this is great for us, that's our opportunity and we can make that promise, we're busy now identifying talent to see which girls really come from the TNC to the TNL to the Spa Proteas, and that will be a nice story of adding to our Stand Tall campaign or making things possible.
I was actually also just trying to gather that information, just looking at players from this year's TNL that come from TNC. And must say the numbers are looking good. So definitely in the right direction, ticking the box. So we are seeing, the link between TNC and TNL. We are currently in Cape Town at the DF Milan World School. And TNC is happening. I think it's the biggest this year, looking at the number of teams.
Yes, it's enormous, and I just think it's going to get bigger because, these girls, and that's why we also called it the Telkom Netball Champs, because we know children. So we said from the beginning that every under 17, 18, okay, under 19 is almost out of school.
Yeah.
They must want to play at the champs. It must become like the Craven Week of rugby.
Yes.
And we can see it now. It's starting to happen. But also what also makes this tournament so special, and if you were at the opening ceremony last night when the under 21 coaches and the national coaches came onto the field,
Yes.
these kids were
Yes.
cheering it. It was looked like if Rassi or Sia Kolisi arrived.
Yeah.
You know, so it just shows you, and that is nice. I think where the federation makes sure the right people are also here, because that's all these girls want. Someone is maybe going to see me and I'm going to get a bursary to go to university, or I'm going to play in the TNL, and if I can get onto that platform, the road up is much easier. So I think our vision was quite clear, and we're getting closer to that. Where we want to be with this tournament.
Yeah, I think I also love the fact that it's not selected schools. You know, it's everyone. You get teams that are from the most rural areas. And Telkom, big ups to you for doing this, you know?
No, so I think again, it's for us a great connection point to this specific, very influential target audience, which is the youth. And I can guarantee you now, it's not a very easily marketing community. The youth are, it's very, very difficult to follow them. Very difficult to know what they like and what they don't like. But I think sport is quite a common denominator where we're quite confident that, they will go back when they do purchase a product. Maybe I should consider the Telkom product.
Yeah.
It's going to work for me, and that's the marketing side of it. But from a sponsorship perspective, yes, this is a great sport, and the numbers say it. It's not what I'm saying. If you look at me, I definitely never played netball, and I've seen most of the sports in this country, and this sport can become huge, bigger than all of us can envisage.
I agree. We're not professional yet, but it's massive. Look at TNL.
Yeah.
Started off with, is it 8 teams, to this year being 16 teams, and the competition is tough.
But again, if you look at netball, just touching quickly on the topic of being professional, at the end of the day, and because sport can be very dangerous, because there's only a small percentage of people who really make it in sport. If you look at the rest of the top big 3 sports, there's only 50 people who make it in football and maybe 60 in rugby. So the risk of trying to be professional is very big. But I think where netball can really stand up is at the end of the day, and if you just look at Bongi, like you create a very rounded 360 holistic person, where they played netball, they enjoyed it, but when they finish with netball, they've got a good career. They went to university, and I still think that is the responsible thing to do, to make sure this netball girls, yes, you can make it to the Proteas and then you're going to play netball for a few years. But at the end of the day, you can't always play for the Proteas. And if we really just keep on creating this holistic human beings, and Bongi is probably now for me the best example, just quickly coming up to mind. And if you have this conversation with her as well, it's quite clear. Yes, I enjoyed netball, but there's life after netball. And netball helped me to prepare for that life. That's a great situation to be in.
And look at Bongi, talking about her, started off as a player. She's coaching one of the TNL teams
now.
Teams, they're doing very well. Yeah. And the growth of TNL, Mr. B, just seeing the number of, not besides just the number of teams, but spectators coming through to watch the games. As a sponsor, how do you feel about that?
I think, South Africa went through a dip where it was quite tough to get spectators to sports events, and that's before COVID. COVID just put us all in a situation where, I should have gone to sports events while I had the opportunity. Now I can't go there and I'm missing out.
Yeah.
And then after COVID, we actually saw an upliftment of people going to all sports. But I think for netball, the Netball World Cup definitely just put a lot of emphasis on the sport is not just a sport. And if you really understand 4 or 5 rules, and I'm taking myself as a sample of one, it's quite exciting. The sad thing about the sport is, and that's what I will tell everyone, is it's better to watch netball live and on television. Because the speed of the game is just different. And I think probably football and hockey is the same. It's much faster in real life. You see contact, you see interaction of the players. So I think what we specifically saw during the World Cup from data and analytics was that there's a new audience, and not only more males watching netball, because that we also saw. We saw a huge spike in males watching netball because of the World Cup. But yes, so we just see this massive growth of the sport. But it's also loyal people. If I look at the fan base and I always try and sit between the people to see what's going on. It's loyal, and that's also nice for a sponsor when you get loyal people, because then they're going to become loyal towards you as well, because you're doing something which they love, so it's a full 360 circle.
Yeah. Talking about, like I'm seeing the vision now of Telkom and, connecting people. Then you had this amazing campaign, Stand Tall. It won a number of awards. The idea behind it and telling the woman's story, essentially it is about that and inspiring the young ones. Tell us about that campaign, because it continues to win awards.
Yeah, I think we've won now, I don't want to brag, but over 50 awards.
What?
We won the big one, was the last award where we were actually within the marketing space, and we won the best strategic marketing award. And that's not a sports award, that's a marketing award. So Stand Tall was just, we had to try and explain firstly why we in female sport, but also giving every young girl or any girl just the opportunity to be themselves. This is now a time where you're not the sport where maybe someone is going to watch it, or it's just a little sport you're on the side where you play it at school or play it for social. You now have an opportunity to stand tall because you're one of the top sports. And for us, the platform of the World Cup was just, now you're playing a World Cup in South Africa where there's television all over the world. You're going to fill stadiums, so this is your opportunity to stand tall. The challenge now for us is to take it to the next level. Like now we're going to start off with still keeping stand tall, but from first pass to crown. And that's actually what this tournament is about. This is where it's going to start. Not everyone is going to get to the crown, but if you don't start here, then someone will spot you at a club or something. But this is we're giving you that hope of possibilities here. So that is, the campaign was extremely successful, I must say, and that's just because of netball, probably one of the most successful sport campaigns. And you must remember, when you enter sport campaigns, you enter the big money spenders. The guys who spend big money on rugby and cricket and soccer. You're competing against those guys with huge budgets. But our story was so compelling and so true and warm, and people bought into it, and people could relate to it, that it stood out, and that's why we've got all the trophies. We've got lots of trophies. It's a story for another day.
Yeah. No, definitely. I just love stories that are real. where people can relate and it gives hope because, yes, the sport may not be professional, but I can end up like that. So there is that opportunity that I can live my dream, and there are opportunities that come with sports. I still take my hat off, for this campaign that you're doing, and I can't wait to see the results of From First Pass to Crown as well.
Yeah, I think, after the World Cup, and that's when you sit and you evaluate, there's not always everything is good and well. We quickly realized that, and more than half of the Protea team is Finnish.
Yeah.
So we have to start all over again.
Yes.
And that's where this thing was born from. We need to now start, and we've got an opportunity now. At least we didn't have that during the World Cup. We had to introduce the Spa Protea players to the South Africans because they didn't know who were Bongi or all the rest of the girls. So now we've got an opportunity to try and see if we can get those heroes earlier. So when we go to the next World Cup, we've got those stories to say, you know what, this girl came from DF Milan. She went all the way. And here she is. She's now got the crown. She's gonna now represent South Africa on the biggest platform. With the new netball World Cups being every second year, I think that's going to be a little bit of a challenge because the netball journey is long. Like most sports journeys are not like you don't jump from under 19 to the Protea team. So, but we will work around that. So that's where this thing comes in, guys. We need new heroes. And we were fortunate with Bongi, probably one of the best sports representatives I've ever met in my life. Well-spoken. People rave about our rugby captain, but Bongi Bongi had ticked all the boxes, every single box. And I think one must also thank her. I think she did a lot because she was the following in the World Cup. And the rest of the girls just had to fall into a slipstream. And we could do some of the work to say, listen, watch this girl, watch that. Because people want to go and watch
someone they know.
People they know.
Yes.
It's human. If I want to watch the Springboks, I want to watch the best players. Don't give me the second stringers. Then I'm not going to buy the tickets. So we need to create those new heroes. But I think we're going to be spoiled for choice.
No, definitely.
Yeah, it's just so much talent now. I don't want to be in the selectives. If you just look at the under 21 squad, it's plenty, and you can have 4 of those squads.
True.
So we are spoiled in sports like rugby, but netball is more spoiled with talent. And here you can see it. If you just look at these girls, every team have that 2-3 girls where you're like, but I need your names. And we're trying to do it to see if we can follow that story, but it's a lot of data because there's just so many. There's plenty of it.
Yeah, sure. Stippy, let's talk the World Cup. First one, African soil in 60 years. Yeah, you said it was a cherry on top, but what was it like working on something so massive?
Firstly, I think it was probably one, and I'm not shy to say it was probably one of the most difficult projects I've ever worked on. And that was just because, it's difficult to have a local organizing committee and World Netball because it's just, I sometimes think they were under the impression that we can't host World Cups until I told them one day, guys, we did the Soccer World Cup. So that was quite a small one to pull through. So we will be fine with this event. But I think, but it was a huge experience, especially to deal with World Netball, just to see how they operate. But from our side, I think we did a great job because we had lots of challenges. You can't run away from that, but it was also challenges we could quickly sit around the table and resolve. And at the end of the day, it was the most watched World Cup ever. Of all the World Cups. We could fill stadiums. People enjoyed it. So yeah, it was an awesome event, and it was a privilege. And I've worked on Olympics, but this was quite special. But again, the reward in anything like the World Cup is when you see the players, how the players pitch up, how they really participate. You remember some of the games with some of the African countries, how they pitched, bring their A game.
Yes.
And it's nice to know, yes, now you're playing against Jamaica, they're going to bully you. And how the girls stood up to that. Now it's England. England is number 3 in the world or whatever. Oh, now it's Australia. You must watch this Australian team. So it was, I think there was for average fan, spectator, also a lot of education. But again, I think our broadcast partner did a lot to educate people on the game. And I think that's why we had so many males watching netball. It was, the audience has changed dramatically during the Netball World Cup, which were great.
Man.
It was great.
I can tell that, you're really passionate about the sport. Has it always been like this, or is it because now you work within it, you see the growth, you see the change it makes in people's lives?
Yeah, I studied sport and I started my postgrad papers were always on very much what everyone talks about now is that how people must spend their leisure time. Now you will hear a lot of stories, if you've got a quality leisure time spending, you will have children who's not in trouble. So I come out of that school actually where, and we just knew sport is going to do it, because if I can keep you busy with sport, it's a more healthier human being. So I was very fortunate to study that. And then I jumped into the sports side of it. But when I started to work sport wasn't professional. So most of our guys had to jump into the marketing space. And that was my career. Yeah. So I actually love sport, but I haven't worked a lot of years in sport, but on the side of sport with marketing. But my first love is still sport. And sports development and sports science and all of those things.
Wrapping it up, what would you say is your biggest dream for netball?
Yes, I just hope my biggest dream is they must definitely become top 3 sports, which I think they can, because dreams must also be realistic. Otherwise, don't dream it. And just get bigger and give these girls more opportunities and everyone just to work together, because the sport is bigger than anyone, bigger than Telkom, it's bigger than me, it's bigger than you. And if you really all these kids want to do is they just want to play netball. So let's just give it what they want, and the rest will follow.
And what would you say has been your most precious highlight?
I will tell you, actually, my first experience with netball was my highlight, and that was, we were at one of the TNL events where the girl who won her first player of the match money could buy herself a new set of netball shoes. That was my that got me. That was my and I don't know, I was just there by accident, and that was my that's when I knew, listen, this is special. And I'm glad now that we've got sponsors who give shoes and stuff, but because people just take it for granted.
True.
It's a big thing for them to win the TNL player of the match, because not everyone is going to spend it on clothes or, that money goes most of the time for real needed causes back at home.
Yeah.
And so that was my my highlight. I knew you thought I'm going to say the World Cup, but that was my highlight.
Mr. B, thank you so much for making the time. And thank you. I think, yes, you've come in as a partner, but thank you for being the great human being, that you are. We really appreciate you. And yeah, man, thank you. I think that's all I can say to you is thank you.
No, thank you. And you guys must just keep on doing what you're doing. The youngsters.
Hey, I'm a youngster. Thank you so much for tuning in. Until we do it again, have yourself a fantastic day. It's a wrap.